3, 2. Oh my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966.
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Airtime, y'all podcast.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. We have a different style podcast we're going to do. The Ashbury Team is in town in Squamish, and there's some out-of-towners that are visiting Whistler. So we're going to do like 3 or 4 of those team riders on the show today. And before we get to our first guest, we have the first co-host of the Airtime Podcast, a guest who's been on the show many moons ago, and a long time Ashbury rider, Harrison Gordon, on the show. How you doing, co-host?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me, Jody. It's a pleasure to be here again in your new studio. Really impressed with the place. It's amazing.
And co-host Harrison, who's our guest today? Really
special guest. That was, I guess, kind of copyright infringement for 9 Club, but whatever. Parker Szumowski is here. This is a real treat for me and for you. I know.
And Parker, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Maybe before we kick this off, Harrison, how long you been on Ashbury for?
That's an unknown amount of time for me. I think there was a little bit of a hiatus there potentially, but it's been quite a while. So I honestly don't know.
Since the inception?
Not quite. Technically, I guess I was Flow for quite some time.
Flow.
So I don't know if we count Flow.
I mean, there's people counting Flow these days.
I mean, I was counting it when I was Flow, but I just think probably if we're counting Flow, probably the inception.
Damn. Yeah. And our guest, how long has he been on?
It's a good question. How many days has it been?
I don't know. Maybe 3.
Shit. So
nice.
Ashbury just signed Parker recently, which was a great pick. Why did you say yes, Parker?
I don't know. It seemed like a good opportunity, and friends with basically everybody on the team, and been a fan since the early days, I guess, watching videos of like the Ashbury demos at Bear Mountain, and yeah, always think that they are doing cool stuff, and it's a rider-owned brand, and yeah, it's cool to support those kind of companies.
I liked on the drive up here what you were touching on about like brands doing things where they get the whole team together. And like, you know, how Ashbury right now flew riders from all over the place. I mean, we have Ivika, yourself, Louif, and then Cody, Parker, Finn. And the whole team is out right now. And you were kind of touching on the drive up from Squamish to Whistler, how dope it is when you are on a brand and they actually do things like get the team together.
Yeah, I think it's really special. It's like doing a team movie is obviously really a special opportunity, but even just to go on like a team trip like this it's cool. Brings everybody together and everybody gets to know each other a little bit more. And I know most people on the team, but it's cool to meet Jason and everybody involved behind the scenes. And yeah, it's cool.
I mean, I feel like you've been really fortunate with riding for brands who do a lot of team things, K2, Vans. And when I'm from like a little bit of I ride for those brands too, but just as a fan of those brands, I think it's so healthy for the company to like incorporate everybody, you know, together. So people are doing dope things. I mean, you ride for a different brand.
I do, yeah.
So how do you feel about your brands?
Yeah. Well, the brands that I ride for are obviously the best.
Right.
But your guys is a close second for sure. But, you know, I'm really happy that Parker's on, selfishly, because he's a good friend of mine as well. And so I'm looking forward to a lot of trips together with everybody. And also, you know, the goggles just look cool. So So subtle plug. There.
Oh yeah, that was a subtle plug. That was good.
Yeah, you like
That's
that?
yeah. When do you guys meet, you and Parker?
That's a good question. Through snowboard videos, because I was,
Likewise.
I like to keep my eyes on the streets, and so I imagine I was aware of you, another fellow redhead goofy footer who seemed, I was a little bit nervous you're coming to take my spot or something, but turns out we're just kind of homies, so so it's all good. But
it's probably like Mount Hood or I feel like just around even just COVID, getting to hang out a lot in Salt Lake.
For sure.
That wasn't the first time that we hung out, but that's maybe when we got to
that was
spend a lot more time together.
Yeah. Ironically, that was some good times for us. But
Yeah.
But that being said, I think it was way before that in my mind.
Yeah.
In my
No,
mind it
definitely.
was way before that.
But I guess even when we hung out in Vancouver that one weekend there,
Yeah,
that time,
and
that was a long time
quite
ago.
a long time before that, I feel, which was like Kuzik's pro boot party down there.
Right.
And then we ended up at the after party together, which was at Paradise. Shout out Paradise. I don't know if that's still a thing in Vancouver, but
I don't know, but I do like when brands do release parties. Like if someone turns pro, I love that.
oh yeah.
Or I like when they give pro model stuff. What are you guys' thoughts on pro model gear? I feel like there's some brands that don't do it. Some brands do. Do you think that it's like, a dying trend? Do we need names on boards or do we not need that?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's the same as like doing a team trip or something. It's kind of like investing in the people that you're psyched that are representing your brand, and it goes hand in hand. It's like, I don't know. It's a good look for the brand, and then obviously it's a good look for the person as an individual. So it's like a mutually beneficial arrangement that's going on.
I fuck with it.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's special, and I think it highlights both, both parties, obviously. I feel like I hear from brands that pro model gear doesn't like sell as well, and I'm a little bit disconnected from that, obviously, not working in the store or being a rep myself, but I do I personally love it, and it makes me happy for my friends when I see it.
Yeah, I think that you don't have to go with the name so loud. Like the pro model can tastefully write the rider's like name somewhere incorporated, but it could be small, and you can still make a beautiful snowboard, and people don't even know that it's really a pro model, but it's still a pro model, and you still helped with the graphic and the shape. And now with the big push, I feel like, of all these other random companies that have nothing to do with snowboarding, like Montec and Dope and stuff like that, they can't. The one thing that makes us different when you actually have a legit team is you can market your team, because your team is actually amazing. And like when you have all these Instagram companies that don't even have a team, it's like, it's almost like the one thing that we're like, well, we have this and you don't.
Yeah.
Like we have a sick team and you just have this big weird Instagram brand that sucks.
But sometimes even like maybe it doesn't sell as well because brands don't integrate it into like their marketing strategy as much as they would say the products that are their bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And maybe it's like in their eyes not worth investing in as much, but if it was built into it, not so much as like a limited Instagram thing, like, hey, this person's pro. If it was like, if there was more of a plan behind it to make a big push, then they would sell just as well as the other products. I don't know. Just a thought.
Very fair. Yeah. True. I would have to agree.
I just
But
don't
these
like
days they're not as like mass produced. Like most pro models are kind of like a limited run, it seems like. So
But like at the beginning of snowboarding, it was all about pro models, and it seems like we're moving away from that. And I don't know if there's a pattern here, but it seems like the further we move away from this, we're moving into this world that someone like me, who was born in the 80s, indulged in snowboarding in the early 2000s. It's the old head in me is like, I don't want to let go of all those things. Like, it's like the ripple effect that is like, okay, pro models don't need to happen because they don't sell. Videos don't get watched as much, so we don't need those anymore. Magazines can go, and then what is it? Like, what's our landscape now? Like,
social media.
yeah, it's like just social media, and I think we can all say
Unfortunately.
that's like, you know,
Sad.
kind of.
Yeah, well, it's less special. That's for sure. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel as special and tangible than, of course, what we're used to.
Yeah, I just my palate hasn't adapted to the new age world yet. I don't know if it will either. Like, do you like where it's all head? What do you like about social media, and what don't you like about it?
I think that, you know, some pros to it could be like seeing people you've never seen, who you would never otherwise see. You know, you're like, okay, here's some person who's posting a sick clip and I would have never seen them otherwise. You know, like, oh, I don't know, off the top of my head if I could pull up someone, but that's like one pro, you could say. But you know, it's not on us, you know. I think this is just like, this is happening regardless.
Pandora's box.
Yeah, and like, I don't see it as being like, I don't think that is the problem. I think that it's like, you know, everyone adjusting to figuring out where they fit or how it fits in with whether it's like the brand marketing or the rider marketing themselves. Yeah, I mean, it feels unnatural, obviously, to be posting yourself all the time. I think everyone feels that way. But, you know, like, I've talked about this before, I think, with friends, but it's like, when I see people who I admire do it, I don't think like they're lame, you know?
Me neither.
So
In fact, we were talking about, or Louif was yesterday or whatever, that Cass Lemons, who just got the cover of Method, that Ivika actually shot that cover, which is awesome, doesn't actually post that much, you know what I mean? And he's just like, it's super hard to like find any footage of him because he's so particular with his footage that gets released. But you kind of want a glimpse behind the door a little bit to that unpolished stuff. And I do like seeing that from my favorite snowboarder. So if I was a kid, I would want to get, I do agree with you on that social media level that it's nice to get a glimpse into like people's life, like behind the curtains, which, you know, for us, it was just like, unless like 411 or something like that did like a bonus feature of the VHS at the very end of the tape, you couldn't really get that like behind the scenes look of like your favorite riders. But maybe now it's almost like too much. Like, I actually don't really care that you have 5 cats and your favorite thing for breakfast is pancakes. But like,
I have a buddy who's like super good at skateboarding that like I grew up skating with, and one time he told me he like unfollowed all the like pro skaters that he's big fans of because it almost like ruined it a little bit. And I thought that was really interesting. I was like, huh,
that is interesting.
Kind of rather just see like what they end up coming out with rather than like everything that's going on, which is kind of sick. And maybe like he's similar age to me, and we probably grew up watching old skate videos that are like before social media, I guess. So maybe it's just kind of that nostalgic, like rather wait, like maybe Kaz does. Like he would rather just like hold on to the footage that he finds the best and wait until that's out to share it rather than just pumping everything that he does, which I kind of respect.
I do like that. I do like that.
I mean,
look.
I do respect it. Like,
yeah,
it's
to
cool.
each their own, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I think, you know, yeah, the mystery of what the people you admire is part of it, and then at the same time, a little bit of insight into it can keep you going where you're like still intrigued, you know?
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
you know, I always like, I'm like, okay, I appreciate that like Wes Kramer doesn't have an Instagram or like Jake Johnson or Heath Kirchart. But then at the same time, I'm like, I wonder what those dudes are doing.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
But what I've realized you never want to do is go full Instagram. Like when you lean into it, so it's like I kind of have to do that with the podcast, but there's I can justify it because it's like a brand almost. I'm trying to turn it into more, so it's like I don't mind doing the work on it, but my personal account, it's like I don't like the idea of like being on it 24/7 all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Where you like, I'm going to be a full Instagram, Facebook, like do the whole world, and it's just for you. It seems a little weird, but that there is like, I feel like I'm being really, what's the word? It doesn't really make sense because at the same time I'm doing that with the podcast. So I'm like, I feel like I'm contradicting myself.
Self-sabotage?
Hypocritical. Like, is it self-sabotage? Yeah, totally. Like, or maybe because I do it on the podcast, I don't want to do it on my own account. But it's like when I see somebody that's like so leaning into that world at all expense, like using the viral sounds of the day and like everything. And it's like, I don't even know who this person is. I just think that they're trying to create content that goes viral. I'm like, ugh.
But these days too, it's like there's also some of that stuff built into contracts, and like you have to think if you had the incentive to post that much about yourself, then maybe you would more.
Yeah.
Like if you had the monetary incentive to do so, maybe you would. I don't know. There's a lot of like,
there's a lot of factors.
Everybody has a different maybe setup for that, but I don't know. Coming from an age of like early social media when I was younger snowboarding, I have to say I posted a lot on Instagram just out of pure desire to get recognized. And then now that is like the mainstream way of getting recognized, like I don't like to do it as much, but I've gotten recognition. So it doesn't feel quite as necessary, but it's also just that's the platform to get eyes on you. So
if I could pivot in this podcast right now, I'd like to talk about the recognition that you've recently been getting. How many covers did you get in the span of 2 weeks recently?
Good pivot.
3 covers.
Nice. That's pretty good.
3 covers of which magazines?
Act, Snowboard Magazine, Pleasure, and Torment.
Damn. If I had the round of applause button right now, that hasn't been done for a while. I've heard of that in the past with a couple people, but I think that you might be in like a I'm sure Craig Kelly maybe, or like Gigi's probably done, but like maybe that's never been done.
Arthur, I think like a couple years ago had multiple covers.
That's a total media shitstorm right there for you. I'd have to say. I think Torment counts as 2 as well, because front and back. I'm just gonna throw that in there.
Sure.
Do you get incentive with that? Is there any?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Luckily.
That's fucking. And I mean, if I pivot again, which kind of goes full circle to what we were talking about, the social media stuff. If we lean into the conversation of Brown, which you had an incredible video part, it's like Brown isn't ran in a way where it's like check us out 24/7. You know what I mean? They do a couple posts a year. I mean, you were with them originally, Parker now. It's like Brown has never been super loud, but there's like a cult following around that project that really cares about what they're doing. And this last year's project was a bit of a masterpiece as far as editing and filming, and the music taste for me was my favorite I've seen in a long time. And I think that what I know about you, I thought it was really sick for you to be aligned in that project. Brown Cinema.
Perfect match. The crew,
match.
The cast, the behind the scenes, best lifeies for sure, easily, for years.
Best lifeies I've seen since Love Hate, I would say.
Yeah.
Or like Burning Bridges, like that style. I think it just, I don't know. What did you think? It came out. Did you like it? Like, what's up?
No, I do. I appreciate all the kind words. That I'm just grateful to be a part of it. I think Brock did an incredible job, and yeah, all the music. I don't know, the way he like edited everybody's part is just like, it's evident that he put a lot of time and effort into it, and I feel like that's easily recognizable for even just like somebody that doesn't watch that many snowboard videos. It's like a pretty unique project. So yeah, I think there's been a lot of good feedback, and it's cool to hear it, and it's just, yeah, I'm just glad to have been a part of it, and yeah, might not ever get to do another video that's like that. So it's like maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity.
And you had a couple clips in it, and you've been with Brown kind of since the inception.
Yeah, for sure.
Similar to Ashbury, Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, Butters and Keegan Valeka are the kind of main founders of the whole thing, and like Scott Blum and myself were invited basically on a trip to Japan just to cruise with them, and ended up turning into, you know, a couple edits that sort of, I think they kind of slipped under the radar for some people, but I was certainly really proud of those, actually.
Oh yeah, they were
and
sick.
yeah, there was like, you know, I'd say kind of, yeah, not exactly self-funded, but we had minimal support from brands, and obviously it was just kind of the three of us initially, along with people we were just riding with, who you know, just to say a few, it was like Kazu, Teddy Koo, Samuel Rouse, just, you know, heavy crew. And then it kind of morphed into something a little bit more serious again the next season. And then, like, for me, just to see like this newest iteration with like pretty much all my favorite snowboarders was really exciting. And so just to have a couple clips in there was an honor for sure. So.
Hell yeah.
So, Parker, to people who haven't seen Brown or don't know what Brown is, how would you describe like that project, that community of riders? Like, how would you articulate that film?
I don't know. That's like kind of a hard question a little bit, but I don't know. Just everybody's really good friends, and I think everybody had the common goal of like wanting to snowboard with their friends and like film a full-length video. So it kind of worked just organically, and I was kind of working on a couple different projects throughout the 2 years, and so missed a couple of like the full team trips, but still, just like I said earlier, the opportunity to go on a couple trips with everybody when I could, and work with like Brock on some street trips around like even just Salt Lake or kind of locally. Like it was so fun. Like it just felt organic to film with some of my favorite riders and good friends. And I feel like, I don't know, sometimes like Harrison said, like some of the earlier Brown edits maybe weren't they weren't like marketed big, or like they didn't have a lot of budget behind them. And sometimes like some of the best shit is created that way. I feel like just people doing it because they want to be doing it, not because they need to produce something for somebody.
Yeah, it really seemed like, for me, it looked like a shared vision amongst everyone in that project. They all had like a general idea of like what they wanted the project to look like, feel like, who was involved in the film, like artistic direction. I mean, like obviously that's all Brock, but like, I mean, like,
right.
I feel like most of those riders who are in that film align with what his vision would hypothetically be before that project even came out.
Yeah.
But I was a super fan of Knights of the Brown Table. I highly recommend everybody go and watch that film. It's incredible. Yes, I know when you get to the end, you'll be like, that was longer. But if you look at the film, like we're talking about as a film, don't watch it on your phone or your laptop. Put it on the TV, because it's one of those films that there's so much attention to detail in that movie. Mm-hmm. And if as soon as you go into that thinking that for a second, it's like fucking fascinating. Like good sound, like the soundtrack's amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's not like a redundant soundtrack that's in a lot of videos, I feel like right now, like a similar mood. It kind of like ping balls around, and the whole time it keeps exciting, and then boom, in the middle, Kale Zima just does a massive back 180, and you're like, oh, you're just like fired up. Like, at least I was. Maybe we'll use what the word you used before, Harrison, pivot here. Bless the Ledge, which I feel like had a little bit more depth into it, because that movie is still of a reflection of a close friend of many people in snowboarding, Dylan Ojo. In fact, you guys went back to a famous spot that he had ridden in the past, and you filmed. You had a Vans ad this year on that ledge, and you went back to it, and there was even a shot of Dylan on it. So I don't know, what was it like to go back to that spot and ride on a spot that a close friend of yours, who is now since passed, filmed some clips on, and for you guys to kind of shine some light on that?
Yeah, it was really special. I feel like it wasn't necessarily like planned, or like going to Finland. It wasn't like we gotta go to this spot specifically, but I don't know, every time I've been to Finland, we kind of bounce around to a couple different towns, depending on what the weather's doing and the snow. And this time was no different. And I think everybody was more than happy to like end up back at that spot. And it's special. Like it's just like reminiscent of the session that we had with Dylan there. And it's cool to have those clips in the video, and it's cool to do it like in remembrance of Dylan, and just kind of have a group session on it. And just, I don't know, feel that infectious energy that he had.
Were you there the first session?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes it so special.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool that you didn't plan it either, and you just kind of organically came up on that spot, and then you actually end up sessioning it, getting into it, filming legit clips on it, and then also you have a pro model booth this year with Vans, the Verse, which I'm riding. It's incredible. Yeah. But you also get like a massive marketing push on that ledge that you rode with your homie, and that photo that Ollie took of you, that Cab 270, is like one of the freshest photos I've seen for a snowboard street ad in a long time. It was cool. I think like once we realized that we were going to be doing that, it was cool to get some roses and buy some Coronas and kind of make it just a special session. Super cool. What was it like to film with Dylan? Maybe we could touch on that for a second, because I feel like there's a lot of people in the audience that would have heard his name over the years. He constantly gets brought up. He still gets his name stamped on boots with Vans and stuff like that. And he just is such a big part of our community. I actually didn't get to spend too much time with him, but I know that you did. It'd be kind of nice to.
Yeah, it was super cool. I don't think like we didn't go on like that many trips together, but the trips that we did go on together were so memorable. And like went to Montreal with him once, right at the tail end of filming for Landline. And I kind of remember it was right after I won Last Call at Loon Mountain in probably like 2015 or 16. It was like the last year they filmed for Landline. And I remember really wanting to go on this trip with them to Montreal and mentioning it to Cole and Dylan. And I just remember Dylan being like, yeah, you should come. And like ending up going up there with them and getting a clip in that movie meant a lot. And if I hadn't gone on that trip, it wouldn't have happened. And that was kind of like my introduction to riding for Vans, or like kind of getting my foot in the door to that opportunity. So that was really cool. And then, I ended up going to Finland with him and going on a couple other trips with Vans. And he's just always super good vibes and super fun to be around. I have this memory of like him icing kind of everybody on one Finland trip, and like I don't know, just having a good time and keeping everybody laughing, and obviously kind of doing the most insane shit in the streets. So it was cool to witness.
Was the clip you were talking about the ollie up onto the parkade?
Which clip that I'm talking about?
The first one you would have went to. I feel like there was like a really memorable clip that you have. You ollie up onto the parkade. You do like a front 50 slappy, and you ride out into like Dylan's like arms.
No. When I was saying that trip I ended up going to Canada with them for Landline, I like front boarded a kink in Quebec maybe. And that was like the first Vans trip I went on. But then, going to Finland later was that like parkade, kind of frontside wall ride thing. Shotgun to beer with Dylan beforehand. That was like a really special memory. It's just like having a good time and hitting a cool spot. And he was like so hyped on that spot. And it's really cool.
I feel like every couple years we lose somebody in the snowboard community that just had like such a lasting impact. I mean, Harrison, you're from Mammoth, and Jeff Anderson passes away, and it's just like there's just certain people that just stay involved in the community just forever just because of who they were. And I think those are two great examples. I mean, I actually have a photo of and Jay too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of people you know, that we've been lucky to pass ways with, and
sure.
I mean, it's a really, I think, for us, the special bond of traveling and snowboarding together, or it's something that is unique. It's a unique bond that you have with people when you go on these trips and you ride together, and yeah, I mean, Jaeger, Jeff Anderson, Dylan. There's so many people, you know, that we've been lucky to know. So absolutely, and that the clip that we're talking about, the frontside ollie, is like is it a wall ride or 50?
I don't know, kind of in between. I
Yeah.
like started doing like a wall ride, and then
You just got
It's
the
like a
rest.
slappy 50, you know, like a curb 50. Like, you know how people do those curb slappies? Like, it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
reminded me of like, you
yeah, I
like
kind of
ollie
got
up
to like
that.
the edge of it. It could be considered a 50-50, but was not like on top of it.
I love that clip.
I love that
Yeah,
clip.
yeah, that clip really stood out to me
Yeah.
then, and even now, like right away, I'm like, oh yeah, that one for sure.
Yeah,
So-
that was a really fun. It's just fun
Yeah.
finding like a natural speed, almost naturally set up spot. Like the snowbank was there for the jump, and just kind of flattened it out and made it look more like a tabletop, and landing, like jump and landing already built basically.
No, that was a good spot. Maybe we can shift back to Brown or Bless the Ledge. What was one of your favorite clips that you filmed last year?
I don't know, but maybe like for Bless the Ledge, that backside 50-50 on the like kind of creeper ledge in Finland for Bless the Ledge
That thing's beast.
was really I was just really hyped to hit that. A couple spots in Finland that we saw last year, or that I ended up hitting last year, I like had already seen from my trips there in like 2018 and 2019. And that spot specifically, I remember like maybe Dan Liedall had kind of showed it to me, or we both like scoped it kind of, and there wasn't much snow, and he was like, this would be sick. And I was like, yeah, it would be. And then going back this past year, there's like a huge snowbank in the landing, and it's like, all right, well, like the landing's there. It's good to go. Like, it's just like natural speed down the stairs. It's like easy setup. It's like, yeah, it's on.
I like that you're dabbling in both steel and the backcountry. You bought a sled this year.
Yeah.
You have backcountry. I mean, some in Bless the Ledge too. I mean, the 2 turns to a 500-foot cliff that you ollie is insane. and then the stuff in Brown. Do you think that you're going to kind of lean more into one, or are you going to try to do the ATV kind of vibe?
Yeah, I'd like to continue to do both. But yeah, I guess investing in like trying to learn and get more experience in the backcountry, and I'd like to continue doing street trips as well. I feel like it just takes a lot more time and experience to like get rewarded in the backcountry maybe, or like I don't know, it's just really hard and takes a lot of effort, so trying to like lean into that more, but not like abandon street stuff. Kind of like doing both.
Yeah, I like both. I know that you do too.
Big fan of both. Yeah, I mean, I love going on street trips, and I love going in the mountains. I mean, I think, right, it's all just snowboarding.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I've never like thought to myself like I'm just like a rail ride. Like I never, I don't think that's something that people think about really ever. But
Yeah.
certainly it's easy kind of coming up to get pigeonholed as a streets guy or person, whatever.
I think some
And
people
so-
think about it. Some people are like, this is my shit.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. And I mean, I guess, yeah, I grew up riding a chairlift, and so just riding the park, it was natural, and being a skateboarder and stuff. But yeah, certainly, riding the whole mountain was a part of it, and I was lucky
Mhm.
to be in some good mountains around California. So, but yeah, I'd have to say I'm a big fan of a nice, well-rounded video part. Not to say that when people focus on one or the other, it's not a good video part as well. So.
But my favorite thing about Brown is that the whole video is rails and backcountry, and it's like not exactly 50-50, but there's both in it.
Yeah,
And
variety.
it makes it it was so refreshing to see professional grade jumping and like freestyle powder boarding with like professional grade stunt steel boarding that was like tastefully done, filmed properly. And there's not a lot of films that come out on an annual basis that have both with that level of like vision. And that's what made it so exciting to me, is like, because I do love both. So I like seeing somebody who knows how to tee up like a good switchback lip, but also knows how to like build a proper jump and do like a cool switchback one with some flavor.
Yeah.
Edited to a good song, filmed good. You're like, this is incredible.
For sure. It's kind of, I guess, a video that there's like something for everybody.
Yeah.
Like as a viewer, like no matter what.
Also, just like, I kept thinking when I was watching it, like everyone in the video came through and everyone had good footage. Everyone has a good style and so much good snow. Like really, you're like these guys got after it. There was so much good snow in the video, whether it's like, yeah, even, you know, the shots of like Stax putting his gogs on in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, I was digging that shot a lot. Shout out to Stax for that one, and Butters for putting it in. But
what was your favorite part other than your own? If you're gonna go Shaun White dummy on him.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like I really like Kale's part, and I went on a couple early season trips with Kale and Brandon and Sam, and yeah, I'd never really filmed with Kale before, so it was really cool, and watched a lot of his parts in the past, and yeah, it was cool to see him do his thing. And then I don't like Gabe's part is really sick, I think, just to the music, and his effortless style in the backcountry is pretty insane to watch. Yeah, it's hard to pick one, I guess, you know, just considering, like I said, there's like a part for every kind of little niche of snowboarding that that you prefer. It's yeah, it's cool. It's kind of it's all good. The whole video is kind of my favorite.
Gabe's part to Action Bronson,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah,
like,
the switch up from the like K9 song to Action Bronson it's awesome. Yeah.
You've gone to Alaska before with Jamie Lynn. So do you think that you're gonna make maybe a push one day to being like a big mountain line rider, or do you think, is that a possibility?
I'd love to. It's or like I'd love to go back to Alaska, I guess. It's just really expensive and kind of hard to like line it up, and I think I kind of just got teed up to go up there thanks to Jake Price for the phone call. But yeah, I would love to go ride some big mountains again.
Did you ride like AK lines with Jamie Lynn?
Yeah.
That is insane. That's so sick.
It was crazy.
Now looking back, as you kind of get older, and you probably knew at the time, but like you're out with someone like Jamie, who is one of the most respected figures in snowboarding, and rightfully so. Like reflecting on that memory, does it just get crazier? Like I was in Alaska with Jamie Lynn.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like the more time that goes by, the more it feels maybe just like a dream or something. But yeah, no, it was like one of the best experiences of my life.
Rightfully so. All right, before we move on to our next Ashbury guest, what's next for you, man? What, you got any bucket list? What do you want? Okay, you just got 4 covers in 2 days or whatever. You just got signed by Ashbury. You got a pro model board with K2. You got a pro model boot with Vans. You're absolutely killing it. Your parts in Vans and in Brown are incredible. You got a bucket list thing that you want to cross off or anything?
Go back to Alaska. Yeah,
there we go.
Be awesome. Nah, keep doing it. Keep filming. Hopefully more video parts, or just being involved in different video projects, and yeah, keep having fun.
My advice is to pat yourself on the back and be super proud of what you've done, because you make snowboarding look amazing, and I'm super grateful that you're involved in the community, and I'm really grateful that your brands are putting you up on a little bit of a pedestal, so kids have somebody like to look up to that's like yourself, that's like creative, an individual who's super tasteful, good approach. I just think that I really like what you're doing. So it's nice to see that your brands that you're aligning with that see value in that and are supporting that.
Thank you, Jody. Appreciate it.
Closing remarks?
Couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
With everything you just said, Jody. Well said. And yeah, I mean, Parker, it's absolutely great that you're here with us. Couldn't be more happy to be a co-host on this podcast with you right now. So yeah, thanks Jody as well.
I love and
for
appreciate
letting me
you
be
guys.
here. Yeah,
Thank you.
Same.
Yeah,
Likewise.
love all you guys. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And maybe Parker, you got any closing remarks or?
Thanks for having me on the podcast, and shout out to Ashbury for bringing us all together for the past couple days. And yeah, stoked for the season.
Hell yeah. And maybe we can close this with you went to Baldface.
Yeah.
You took the Avi course there. Winter's about to start blazing. You took the refresher. Was it beneficial for you to take that course? And would you recommend it?
Yeah, 100%. I think if you are planning to go out into the backcountry this season, whether it's Baldface or whether it's the risk maturity course or just like an intro to Avi 1 course, if you plan on touring or going out on a snowmobile, I think it's super beneficial to educate yourself and before you go out there, just know what gear you need and be aware of the risks that you might be taking. I recommend everybody takes some sort of educational class before they go into the backcountry or travel around in avalanche terrain.
Yeah, I really liked what you were saying yesterday. That's kind of what I brought it up with. But you also touched yesterday on man, everybody should be taking first aid classes. Shouldn't we all be learning this? I was kind of damn, Parker, you're right.
For sure.
Everybody should be taking first aid classes. So I kind of wanted to end it on that note just because I've been trying to force feed our listeners to doing that because I feel like I bump into so many people who keep doing that I'm going to do it next year kind of thing. So I thought we could end on that. But thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks to both of you. And our next guest coming right up.
All right.
Peace.
Nice. Peace.
All right. Welcome back to the show, everybody. No, I'm kidding. You're
I was no.
Whoa.
I'm not ready for this.
I guess I have a question.
All right. Our next guest for this 3-part series is the best. Definitely. One of them. Ivika Jurgenson. Is that correct? Is that how you say it? Jurgenson. One of mine and our co-host, Harrison's favorite style. We were both kind of wondering, where do you draw your influence? Who inspires you? The style that you got going on, it comes from somewhere. So we were kind of wondering where that might have came from.
I have no idea.
You have no idea who influenced you?
No, I mean, mostly just all of my friends that I snowboard with. And these days I snowboard with some really great snowboarders. So.
Who are you snowboarding with?
Well, I've been filming with Gus Lemmens, Dominic Wagner for now 2 years. So has been some great influence.
Yeah, they're both incredible.
We could all take a note from their books.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, style lords for sure. Have you been filming? Were you filming with Postland as well back in the day? Because I know that was kind of Tim's original.
So I think I came in all the way kind of in the end. I filmed with the guys, I think maybe the last 2 winters or something that they were all filming together.
Okay, cool.
But when I was filming for The Uninvited, and then Tim just gave those clips to Chess, so I wasn't actually in the Postland movie. But I think people always get it mixed up because I was always kind of around that crew.
Yeah, I was trying to just remember the name. I was like, oh yeah, Tim, who's your partner, is was the main filmer and editor of the Postland Theory videos, which was some sick videos back in the day.
Filmer
Yeah. So I mean, that's been quite a while, but I guess to get more specific on Jody's point, it's I feel like when I think about your snowboarding, it's always clean trick selection, perfect style, and a lot of energy based on spots and stuff like that, which it doesn't just happen by accident. I guess, like you said, you're influenced by your friends.
Yeah.
And your friends are also really talented riders.
Yeah.
But early influences. Did you have people in your family that snowboarded, or no?
No, I kind of found snowboarding in a strange way. Well, I started snowboarding because of my dad, actually. We used to go skiing, everybody together, like a couple of times in the winter, just on a local, really small hill, like 2 hours away. We would go like maybe twice a year, rent skis. And then one time he was like, why don't we just rent snowboards? Like, this seems cool. Like, and then me, my sister, and my dad, we all went snowboarding together on that day. And then we all just kept snowboarding ever since.
All of you?
Yeah.
Your dad still snowboards?
Yeah, he snowboards.
No way.
Yeah.
The dads who rip. I mean, Eddie Wall's dad rips. I mean, Eddie Wall's dad was in video projects with Eddie.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, my dad does not. Does your dad snowboard?
He skis.
He skis.
Yeah, he skis.
Yeah.
He tried snowboarding a little bit, but he kind of went back to.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have ever got into snowboarding if he wouldn't have had that idea. Like, hey, why don't we all just try it? Because I was never really like that much into skiing. But then when we went snowboarding, that was like something new and like really, like I really liked it. And then after that, I changed school, and then I didn't have any friends there. And then I saw these kids like, going snowboarding behind their school, and like I thought that they were pretty cool. And then I brought my own snowboard there as well. And like
Were they hitting a street spot?
No. It was like tiny hill behind our school, and they had put like a couple boxes on it.
Cool.
And it was like right next to a skate park. So I guess they were like kind of trying to copy what skaters were doing, but just on snow. And I found that it was like a great way to make friends. And then we became really good friends, like all of us. And it was really fun. So I think first I didn't really know any like professional snowboarders or anything like that. It was just really like our little close group of friends, and we were just all having fun on a snowboard, trying tricks.
And is that same group that you grew up having fun with, like Cass and that whole group? Like
Dominic? No. That's not their group, because they're from different countries. But
okay.
Because I grew up in Estonia, which is like a super teeny tiny country, maybe like the Vancouver Island size.
Oh wow, yeah, super small.
I mean, it's really small. There's only like 1,000. No.
A million people?
No, 1 million people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's.
And you're in Finland now.
Yeah.
And how do you is Finland? So Finland, when I think of Finland, is there's not like a lot of maybe north, but like you're there for steel.
Yeah, it's like they're hills, like tiny
hiking hills.
I mean, you get up there really quickly.
T-bar, rope toes, right?
Yeah, no rope toes, unfortunately, but T-bar.
Does Ruka, because Ruka is the name of the resort that you live near, right?
Yeah.
And do they have chairlifts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even have one gondola.
Oh, okay.
Takes forever to get up there, but much faster on a chairlift.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a small resort, but that's what I like. I don't like it when I take chairlift for ages all the way up the mountain and then do like 5 runs a day. I'd way rather just lap the park and then be done with it within like 3 hours.
I mean, there's definitely an energy and a vibe to a short chairlift or the tow rope or T-bar.
Yeah.
Where you can really get immersed in the energy of the hill. And like when you go somewhere like Troll or Highland or Winnipeg or where you're from, and you're watching like the craziest thing for me, which is a little bit of sidetrack where I was just talking about, but like there's always the kid that was like a rookie the year before, and then you're riding that same T-bar or tow rope or small chair, and you see that person go from a rookie to like he unlocked a whole new level, and you're like, what happened to Timmy? He's like the best snowboarder ever this year. He's got like a new kit, he's got a new look, clearly loves Tommy Gesme, and he is doing every trick and more. And I'm imagining at like a small hill, because you actually get to watch everyone's riding. You see how much better people get in such a short period of time because you get so many laps. So people go from like an intermediate to like one of the best riders in the park in 2 years, and they're like phenomenal snowboarders. And I'm imagining that's what kind of happened to yourself and everyone that you film with, because you guys are definitely, you know, I mean, for Europe, you guys are holding it down. Like, incredible. Everything you guys are filming is gold to me. I'm like, the photo that you just got, that cover that you shot of Cass, that photo is amazing. Nice job, by the way.
Thank
You
you.
shot a cover. Was that?
It's like every photographer's dream.
Yeah. How many photos have you shot and have been in a magazine?
I have not counted, but that's a good number.
Oh, you've had a couple photos published.
Yeah, I've had a couple published, but like, they're not fully like shot taken by Ivika because sometimes, you know, Tim has, you know, helped me frame the picture, helped me edit, or he fully edits the pictures. So it's like a team effort mostly, but like I've played around. I've taken a couple.
But you're pressing the button.
I'm pressing the button.
Yeah, I think whoever presses the button
let's
is a
not
photographer.
downplay the pressing the button.
No, but like there's a lot of pictures that I've like framed myself and done everything myself. So
Do you think you would ever lean into photography, or is this just like a side thing you're doing to help the whole like?
I think it would be really fun.
Nice.
It would be really cool to do, but I'm too busy snowboarding right now.
Do you have a favorite photographer?
Well, I really like this Russian photographer, Senya. Have you guys heard of him?
I don't think so.
He's really crazy. He loves to like climb up towers and buildings and take like some really cool angles.
Oh, so not snowboard photographer.
No, he is a snowboard photographer, but he just likes to climb up to high places and get some cool angles.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, he's really cool. And then Jerome Danon is also awesome.
Yeah.
Like both of them, they're like, if they're at a spot, they would like shovel, they will help you build and do everything, which is really nice. I like that.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, that's like pretty necessary.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to, and people who are not willing to contribute to the end goal don't get invited on trips.
True.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times photographers would just be like, I'll go and do the angle check or whatever, you know, and then wouldn't really help build.
Yeah, I've heard of a few terms thrown out. Do a quick perimeter check, which, you know, of course, yeah, we know. Angles are important, of course, but yeah, you got to throw in the time on the shovel, which I think, you know, all the greats do. They have they put in their time.
There's nothing better than like rolling with a crew. You get to a spot, it's night, one person's hitting it, and the filmer and photographer help shovel the landing, and you're like, this is amazing. Thank you for doing this, because it makes the whole process go way faster. And as soon as one of them has like a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and it's like, I'm gonna go get coffees, and the other one's like, I'm gonna go look for an angle and like see what lens I want to shoot with, and you're like, bro, come on. And it's even more goated when like a legendary filmer or a legendary photographer are the type to always help. You're like, dude, this guy's paid his dues. He doesn't really need to grind it out this hard, but he always does. It just adds a level of, you know, you're just like, wow, you're amazing. Thank you for doing that, because it's hard to get clips. Is it hard to get clips in Europe? I feel like you guys always hit the best spots ever. Where's the best place to film clips in Europe that you've been?
Well, I just recently went to Stockholm, and if Stockholm has snow, I would say Stockholm.
Stockholm's
it's
incredible.
Just, like, rails everywhere. So, but yeah, unfortunately, I only got to spend there 3 days. So.
But you met Kareem El Rafi.
I did, which was awesome.
And you went to his taco place.
I did. The food is amazing, and apparently the margaritas are also really good. I did not have one, but I heard they're good.
Yeah, Kareem El Rafi, shout outs. Used to ride for a forum back in the day. He's been in Videograss and the Egyptian Mummy Man. He's incredible.
Yeah, big shout out to Kareem El Rafi. He was also a guide to me on one of my first trips to Stockholm, and nothing but respect for him.
Yeah.
My first trip to Stockholm, Kareem El Rafi was our guide.
Yeah.
It's just like he's helping everybody out. He's just down.
Yeah.
Recently, though, you flew in for an Ashbury trip. You got to Vancouver. The airline lost your luggage, which is always the worst thing when that happens. So you had nothing. So I brought you a bunch of gear that's random, but it fit and it worked. Yeah. How was your first day sledding? I
am so sore, like all over. I have like bruises on my knees from like trying to hang on to my dear life next to you.
What? You're making me sound like I was trying. I've never taken it so easy. I literally said while I was doubling her that this is what I would do if I was taking my fiance out, like with my like take it easy. And I mean, there was that one.
No, you were taking it easy. It was chill. But I just get bruises so easily, and you know, like how you're like holding your knee against the seat almost.
Yeah, you got to do anything.
Yeah,
to
you got a
stay
bad
on.
technique right now. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it's,
No, it was super fun. I loved it.
yeah, don't get discouraged. It's like it takes time, and I think I'm probably just as bad at doubling or being a passenger, and I've done it a lot. So,
Yeah?
Yeah, it's difficult.
I normally pat myself on the back for being a good doubler, but you just completely threw me under the bus. So
No,
maybe
it wasn't you. It was me, I think.
I'm like trying to do the chauffeur, like not too fast, like get everything perfect, all the transitions, like pump the bump, like not touch the brake at all. But apparently I sucked. But
no, you were good.
do you have a new appreciation for what backcountry people do? And remember, that's not actually the backcountry because we were just riding on a rain crust mountain.
I definitely do. And I'm like, if I was to do that, just doubling up on a sled, I need to go and squat in the gym the entire summer, probably because my legs were just burning.
Rule number 1 is to work hard enough. Well, not number 1, but it is a rule. It's like after your first year or so, you definitely want to work hard enough so you have your own sled so you don't have to double, because doubling it's definitely a nightmare. And we didn't even go over like giant bumps and stuff like that. Like that was casual.
But like going downhill, like after we had that cabin break, I was really just like, it was like excruciating pain in my legs.
LNP was on the podcast one time, and he just spent probably like 15 minutes just laying into sledding and how much he hated it. It was so funny. I feel like whenever you bring somebody from the steel right out into the backcountry and they don't really know what they're getting into, they're like, why does anyone do this? Like, this is insane.
But I can imagine it's fun if you're like, like sitting on it all alone, like kind of
it's a different
controlling it, but like standing there and like, I don't know. That was crazy.
I think it's the best and the worst. It can be both at the same time. Because it can make things so easy. And then at the same time, it can make things really difficult as well. A lot can go wrong, a lot can go right as well with a sled. So
it's true.
But I'm so hyped that I actually got to experience it.
Good views. And
yeah, for sure.
So what would you normally do? You're back in Estonia, then you move to Finland, and you're filming rails, and you come across a backcountry video part in a movie. What happens when that happens? Do you fast forward it? Do you make fun of these people? What goes through your mind?
Do you want me to give you my
yes, honest. We have to be
answer?
real on this podcast.
So, I tried to watch it. I tried to appreciate it, but oftentimes I just skip it.
Sorry, what was that? One more time.
I might skip it sometimes.
You might or always?
Well, with with some videos, I'm like, for example, the Brown Cinema video, I watched the whole thing, and it was filmed really cool, and I really liked it. But a lot of times when it's just like powder heavy movie, then I just,
So like if you came
skip
across like Devin or Nicholas or Vole or Vile or Travis, or you just like next, see it, like thanks a lot, but like here's the thing, I'm being hardball here, but like I'm from Winnipeg. I used to skip all those people's parts on the daily, like a full backcountry part when you are a born bred steel boarder with like small hills to hike to ride boxes, and you've never ridden like powder and a mountain, you're like, I do not relate to this at all.
I think that's the thing, because like I have no idea. Like it looks cool, but as someone who doesn't do it or has never had a chance to do it, and I don't see these big mountains around me, like it just looks very similar to me. Like if I watch the street footage, like the spots are different. There's like always something, different going on. But like it might sound really
Every
bad.
mountain is different.
That's what I mean. Like it might sound really bad, but like I don't, like I haven't
give you a
had
hard time.
I haven't had a chance to experience.
It doesn't
that
sound really
way.
bad because it sounds exactly what people who ride big mountains say about a street part.
Really?
Perfect.
It sounds absolutely the same as what they say. So you don't have to feel bad about
Okay.
that. And I think
the feeling is mutual.
yeah, I think like you know, as a person who also watches a lot of snowboard videos, as a kid, for sure, I would like watch people doing like Alaskan snowboarding and stuff like that, and I have no idea what that really entails. And so yeah, I would probably skip some of those too, because I'm like, they're just riding down the mountain. Like, I don't
what's
know.
the
Like,
big
I want to
deal
see,
about-
I want to see somebody do a 720 or what, or a lip slide. You know, like that's what interested me. Going back to some of those video parts now, with the knowledge that like riding down that mountain is like the most insane thing ever, you have a new appreciation. You know,
Yeah,
so it's like things can change, and then you'll go back and you'll be like, whoa, actually, that person is so fucking sick. Like,
I think so too.
yeah,
I
so-
might, come around and actually appreciate Jody's clip. I'm joking.
Okay, so
Nice.
no, that was great. Zing. You don't need to appreciate my clips. There's many other riders that you should appreciate. And on that note, is there any backcountry riders that ride only POW that you're like, I kind of fuck with that one rider?
Well, I do like Travis Rice a lot
There you go.
Undeniable. yeah.
Why?
because I watched this the last natural selection, and then like seeing his run, it was just like that was impressive.
So
That
if I
was-
get as good as Travis
Yeah.
Rice, I can gain your respect.
Then we might watch your video part, I guess.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No,
Good
but-
thing Harrison and I we still do film a bit of both. So you're only
Occasional
skipping
strict-
half of our parts.
Yeah,
No,
a
but
little
I-
fast forward.
Yeah,
It's
fast
okay.
forward.
Yeah.
It's like we'll double dap.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think that I do like to watch, like, for example, natural selection. Like, it's really cool to look at someone just like ride down the mountain and then do the tricks. Like, that's really cool. But I personally find it, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I find it a little bit boring when people build a big jump somewhere and then they just, a million people go and do tricks on it. And I don't know.
No, you should say whatever you feel.
No,
first
that
of
is
all.
that's amazing.
And
'cause
I
that's
think
how-
that's a lot of people feel similarly to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd way rather watch like people do some natural hits and like stuff like that. This is cool because I think that's when you actually ride the mountain. But then when you build this big jump somewhere and do the whatever crazy tricks you're doing, I don't find that interesting.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, to take it to the streets too, it's like a lot of the times the spots that are the most interesting are the ones that are naturally kind of set up for snowboard tricks.
Like with natural speed and like you kind of just use the whole terrain.
Yeah, the less like manufactured
Yeah.
a spot can be is kind of when you can see like the rider's personal take.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's if we could drag this back to which I've talked about a bunch on the podcast, so back before this conversation, is the bungee and the winch. Like to me, if it's the best spot ever and you have to drag out those tools, emergency case trip is kind of lackluster. You're not getting a lot of clips, and this awesome yellow ledge is screaming your name. Like, okay, let's pull out the winch or the bungee. But like to me, that's kind of like pulling out the booter on a roll. Last case scenario, pull out the booter on the roll, and kind of like a basic boring down rail in the middle of like a field with no kind of cool buildings around it or whatever. Ideally, you find street spots and backcountry spots with natural speed. It looks way better on film when you can ride into the shot. It feels way better. The worst thing in the world to me is holding onto a bungee, letting go 8 feet before the rail, hoping the bungee doesn't wrap around my binding and I go head first down the staircase, which happens all the time. Or the winch rope smacks the person in the face that has the winch. And yeah, it's a little, you want to find those natural speed spots. It looks
sure.
way better on film. And then, especially when like 20 people session one down rail in one rail or in one video, everybody has clips on it. You're kind of like, I've seen this rail enough.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's okay. It's been destroyed. I'm kind of bored. It's like a cheese wedge jump where 5 riders hit on it, and it's like front 9, cab 9, back 10, front 7, back 1, and it's the same angle, and you're like, this is so painful to watch. Painful is maybe a bad word, but like boring.
But that's the thing. Like I don't like it when a lot of riders ride the same spot in the streets either. That gets boring as well, I think.
I will say that your part in Vitamin, what stood out to me, at least I am overseas here in North America, but like a lot of the spots I had never seen before, and a lot of the spots nobody else had clips on that spot, which I do really like in the backcountry and in the streets. And I know like a couple of my friends have really pushed for that over the years, and I've been on trips with them, and it's like one day is one person's day. You get that person a clip, and then you kind of swap and you rotate, but then every day that individual feels special, and then they get a cool opportunity to film on like a fun spot that's like more about them. So the photo works for them, the video works for them, it like aligns with their riding style, and I kind of like that. Do you speak to that, or do you think that's a bad idea?
No, that's exactly what we are doing and have been doing since forever. I think that's how the Postland guys have always been filming. It's like everybody has their day. It's not really like, like it's not random. Everybody has their day, and then you just help the other guy in the other days or take photos of them or whatnot. And that was because I started filming with the Postland guys, and then I thought that this is how, everybody does it. And then when I went on my very first uninvited trip, and it was like everybody sessioning one rail, I had such a hard time, like getting on their program, and it felt really hard for me, like, because I don't know if you've been filming like that for a long time, and then you go on to something like that. It was hard.
I think obviously like the end product of that rotation of like people finding their spot and hitting separate things is it's a higher end product. It's more fun. There's more variety in the video and stuff like that. But I would have to say there's also something great to a party spot, and like though it's like you want to have a
time
you
and a
want to
place.
have a nice mixture. I think a fun mixture enough to where it's like, yeah, maybe like this one thing is yours, but if a spot calls for it and multiple people are feeling it, I think there's, everyone.
For sure.
Yeah, I think there's room for both.
I'm gonna jump in here. Here I go, because this is what I do. I interrupt my guests. Everybody, all the listeners know this. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes, but like the one thing I will say to that, the counter, is that somebody riding a bungee spot, if you pull out the bungee, it's a one-person spot. You get them the clip, and you're done.
Yeah, you're not
4
gonna
people
bungee.
on the bungee and then the one homie's there till like 3 a.m. being like, one more pull. You're like, we're done. We're done pulling, man.
Well, I'd just like to say
I would never quit, but
it sounds like you're speaking from experience.
I'm normally the person who's like, one more pull.
Well, I mean, I know that's like, yeah. I mean, we're all guilty of this a little bit. This was going down quite a bit during the bungee era, regrettably. But at the same time, it's something that has happened. Yeah.
Have you used that tool before, the bungee?
Yeah, we have.
Do you like the bungee?
No, but I mean, there's some spots that
It's true.
you kind of just have to if you really want to do the spot.
Do you like the bungee in the footage?
No, we hide it for sure.
Yes.
We'll never know we used the bungee.
It used to be in our time, and I think Videograss, which Harrison was lucky enough to be a part of, they only glorified that for maybe 1 year. They would use bungee shots, maybe not even if I don't really recall a bungee shot, but I feel like a lot of the videos that I filmed for a hot mini were like using it was like emphasis on the bungee and as well as the winch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, actually, at the time, it's just a tool,
Yeah.
So it's not like.
Wasn't it like Frank April who made those bungee videos as well back in the days?
Well, yes.
Right?
Those are I know exactly what you're talking about.
These
Those
are so
hilarious.
funny. Yeah, like how to use the bungee or
also,
something.
yeah, during these videos.
That would go viral these days.
These are legendary videos. I know exactly what you're talking about. And his English wasn't like as good as it is today. And so They're
I love
absolutely
I think
amazing.
I think we just
Yeah.
watched it last year on a trip or
That's
something.
amazing. Are they online?
I think so, yeah.
That's some good stuff. You should put that in the
I don't even know what
notes.
you guys are talking about.
No.
Oh, you should see these
Was
videos.
Frank April teaches you how to use a bungee?
Yeah.
Well, because the bungee people supported the project and they gave them a bunch of free
how-to
bungees.
video.
So this was like part of the deal for someone to give a how-to and information on to safely use the bungee, which, as maybe we all know, safely using a bungee isn't exactly, this doesn't really, it's not safe
safe.
ever. Yeah,
Okay,
it's never safe.
what would you rather use? Bungee, fully extended because you need all the speed, or winch?
Winch.
Yeah, electric winch, because then it's quiet.
Oh wow, must be nice over in Europe.
Modern.
I feel like we're not even using gas. It's like diesel. It's like whoa, and you're like Jesus.
Yeah.
And then one year we did the wakeboard handle for it, like 2010, and I was the winch driver, and they let go of it, and I got hit with it. Oh, my back was done. I thought I broke my back.
Oh
like
my God.
let go of the winch, and it just killed me. And then we're like, okay, now we gotta use the scoop shovel and bend it
As a
in the front
shield.
as
Yeah,
like a
of course.
shield
Yeah.
to protect the winch driver. What are you working on this year?
We are filming a project with Gus Lemons, Dominic Wagner, and Will Smith, and Tim is filming it. And it's a 2-year project, so we already filmed for a year, and now we are finishing it up this year, and it will drop next fall.
Okay, so all the snow around the world melts, which isn't going to happen ever. But
Then we have some stuff
who
already in the bag.
has Ender right now?
I can't say it.
Who has great footage right now? You have another
Everybody.
year.
Everybody has great footage.
Oh, nice. How many clips have you filmed this year?
Just one.
One clip? I mean, you're in December. That's good.
That's more than me. That's for sure.
I mean, I spent 3 days actually 2 days in Stockholm. So 1 day for me, 1 day for Cass.
Oh, nice.
And then off I went. So
Did Cass get a clip?
yes.
Cass. I mean, I'm a super fan of all those borders, but definitely a super fan of Cass. Like,
Yeah.
can't wait to see.
He has some amazing footage.
Wow. I hope he gets put on. Well, I hope both of you. That whole crew. I would like to see a couple of them get pushed onto that American or global Vans program. I mean, Benny Urban's a great pick, but I easily feel like one more of your crew, whoever has the best footage, we got to give them a boot. That's what I'd be saying right now. I think you deserve a boot too.
Thank you. That's really kind of you.
Harrison, you deserve a boot too.
Thanks.
We're all getting
yeah.
boots.
I mean,
So do you, Charlie.
No.
yeah, yeah. Let's draw it up right now. Let's do this.
All right. Do you have any future goals for yourself? What do you want to check off the bucket list with snowboarding over these coming years? Do you have some goals for yourself?
Become a better sledder.
Nice. Yeah. I'll
I mean,
try the
for
same
sure.
apparently.
I think I'm still hunting for that perfect video part.
The white dragon video part,
Yeah.
as our friends over at the Bomb Hole would say, which I too am
I think it's
chasing.
the Great White Buffalo.
Is it the Great White Buffalo they
I
switched
think
it to
so.
now?
It's a quote from a movie. I feel.
Oh,
like.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't really see myself stopping anytime soon. So
Well, I mean, you're only 25?
13.
13 years
Yeah.
old.
So it will,
Okay.
it will come.
Yeah, I mean, that considering people film till they're well into their 40s now,
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, it's going to be a good ride for you.
Do you think perfection is possible? Or it's
Well,
just something that we
deep.
strive for?
We strive for. I mean, it can never be possible, but you can definitely strive for it,
Okay.
which I definitely do with everything I do, and then it's very annoying.
Yeah.
Are you
I mean,
a tough critic on yourself?
Oh, so tough.
I feel like it's bad to do that, but there is like a dance there where it's also really good because then you constantly push yourself and you're never satisfied. So you're constantly moving. So you're not stuck in this
Yeah.
comfort bubble, which people who don't have that stay in their comfort zone to only one day realize, hopefully sooner than later, that staying in your comfort zone is also misery. Like you can only be in that for so long.
Yeah,
And you see
for
old
sure.
people do that a lot. Like they retire and then they get stuck in their little whatever it is, like I'm just going to play golf or I'm just going to watch TV. And then 5-10 years goes by and you can just see that they're like, oh, you should have kept pushing for something, because this whole just do nothing relaxation is not the answer.
No.
Like you got to keep striving for things. I think that's like embedded in our DNA, and it keeps you healthy. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you in tune.
Yeah, it keeps your front boards perfectly 90 degrees.
That's important.
Yeah.
What's one trick you would like to film this year?
I definitely want to do a front board on a king crail. I keep looking at this king crail over there of Mikey LeBlanc.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing that I've never filmed, is a front board on a king crail. I was gonna go for it like 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago, and that's I got my edge and then I broke my elbow, and then this is something that's a little bit like a mind block thingy in my head, and like I know I can easily do it, but it's just more in my head, and that's one thing. If I film it, I'm gonna be like victorious, because like.
Oh, you overcome it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. Harrison, do you have a mind plug on a trick that you've gotten beamed on before?
Oh, man. I feel like not necessarily off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know.
Lucky.
Like,
yeah,
I got like, and it's not like I don't have those like sessions where I like was trying and then I didn't get it. But I don't know. For me, I guess I still am like trying to do like, I don't necessarily feel like I want to replicate the past for myself. So like when I've done something like in the past, I'm like, okay, like I did that. I did a Cap 270 on a king crail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily want to chase that again. But yeah, I mean, like I would love to do like a back 10, like a double cork or something like this. This would be for me like, this would be a personal goal.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I got dinged on the back 270 one time. I was really good at that trick until I was like 19. Or from like 16 to 19, I got really good at the back 180s on and the back 270. And I was at a contest at my local hill and I did a back 270 and my nose went under the beginning of the rail and I like just died. And till this day, I've never done one again. I don't know what I like I'll do back 180 switch 50s on something. Like as soon as I like get warmed up, I'm down to try that trick. And then as soon as I'm like, just do the back 270, I'm like, I get too scared. It's gone. Nobody cares. I know.
No, I was just going to say, that's not a trick that I have on lock either. I'm more like, front two off the toes or like something like this.
Oh yeah.
Something that's more just like automatic. And I think for a back two, it's definitely more like nuanced the way you pop and
for sure.
Kind of it's all in the hips kind of thing. Just to quote Happy Gilmore, but
great movie. Yeah. Have you seen Happy Gilmore?
I have, but I can't really remember it too much. Movies that like I watch them and then 5 days later I don't remember anymore.
Happy Gilmore, you should watch a couple more times because the majority of our listeners here absolutely love that movie, and you would have earned a lot of points if you watched that one more. So for next time that you come on the show,
okay, I'll watch
just tell everybody that I'm a half decent sledder and that you watched Happy Gilmore. Get on the bus. No, that's a different one. Is it? Get on the bus?
That's Billy Madison.
That's no? Tommy Boy? Get on the bus? Who would eat 32 lunches?
That's Billy Madison.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm getting
Veronica Vaughn.
All my fans.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. We're going to switch this over to our third and last guest of the day. And we're going to go get some Sushi Village while we're in town.
Let's go.
Yeah. Right on.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thank
Any
you.
closing remarks?
You're a good sledder, Joey.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Retribution.
You heard it here, everybody. Yeah. Ivika has told everybody that I'm a good sledder, so now no one can throw me under the bus. All right, moving on.
All right. I was so sleepy. I'm so sorry. I don't want to sound like as if I don't like powder snowboarding.
All right, our third and final chapter today for this Ashbury wind-up week that we just had shooting our catalog. We got another Ashbury rider who was I think, around since its inception, at least the beginning. We got Louif on the podcast. Louif Paradis. Louif Paradis. How do you exactly articulate the P?
Paradis.
Oh my God, that was nice.
Louis Felix Paradis.
Oh, that was good. So we have
That was a
Louif.
little Italian.
I know.
Paradis.
My bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
thought it was
it's French Canadian.
Yeah.
Paradis.
How long on Ashbury?
First time or second time?
First time.
First time, I want to say like 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know.
But since the beginning? Were you one of the first?
I think so. I think maybe like 1 year late. Like I think LNP was maybe original team and, you know, Ben Billock, I'm pretty sure. And yeah.
What was
I think I was like a year late, but also because I was on IS design before.
Dang, that's cool. That's a cool list of
Iris before. Yeah, but at the time when I was on, it was called IS design. And then when Videograss was about to happen, I think it happened at the same time as Ashbury.
And who got you on? How did that whole thing start? Ben got you on there?
No, so I filmed for These Days, and then the year after, it was Videograss, and those guys, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna do this video, and also we have Ashbury. Do you want to join and do Videograss too?" That's my recollection. Was like it was at the same time. So at that time, it was Lance Hacker, Mike Hacker, and Nima Jalali, who were running Ashbury, and those guys, along with Justin Meyer and Mikey LeBlanc, started Videograss. And those two opportunities were at the same time, you know.
Damn.
So I left IS and I went to Ashbury.
Well, this is all going really full circle because then you re-sign with Ashbury and there's talks, which we can't really talk about, but Justin Meyer might make another film this year. Who knows if it'll be a VG film, but like, can we say that?
I think we can mention it. We'll see, you know. I kind of don't want to jinx anything. I'd like to like get one clip.
You want to film
in
first?
the bag. Yeah, I want to film first before talking about it. But yeah.
Okay, and how many X Games medals?
A handful.
A handful?
Yeah.
So like 3 or 5?
No, like I have 5 fingers in my hand.
Nice.
Yeah, 5.
How many X Games medals do you have, Harrison?
None, but I did actually get to accompany Louif to the X Games on a pretty specific, important X Games where I think he came up on at least 2 of them.
True.
I was his rider support.
Yeah.
Which was an absolute
that was
treat.
sick. Yeah.
And there was a lot of funny things that happened at this X Games. Mostly for me because it was during the fan voting era where there was like the extra special fan vote for Real Street. And there was kind of like an unspoken beef between Haldor and Louif. Not really. But they were like up against each other in the fan vote.
Yeah.
And so, but there was just some really funny interactions towards the end of the night, which, I don't know. Maybe
Who ended up taking the cake?
Louif won.
Dang.
Yeah.
I never thought I would win over Aldor, you know, because back then he had like a huge, or he still does, but there was like elgisons.com.
The
at
website,
the time, like,
yeah,
you
it
know,
was amazing.
I was like, whoa. But what were we doing? Because I remember we were like on a trip before together, and I was like, "Do you want to come to X Games with me?"
I think it was just because SIA was happening. Was my recollection.
Okay, I thought we were maybe together on like a team vacation or something, and we were like, "Do you want to come with me?"
Yeah, that actually could be true.
Yeah,
I think that is maybe what it was. Yeah.
Did you see him clip up on anything?
For the video part?
Yeah.
I don't think I filmed with him for that video part, but I remember specifically like some of the clips from that part, which would have been like that the cab off your toes in Sweden, I think, that you did back to regs and to switch. and then Frank did like the 50 to lip slide on that same spot. It was a crazy video part, and then I think that was the one.
Oh, the
They all
gap.
blended.
Like I remember the
Like
one you're
slight
talking
gap
about. Like
out.
he like does like the pause and then front 270 late.
It's a really good
Oh
one.
yeah, I've
That
been
one
to that spot.
specifically was good. Yeah.
In Stockholm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went there with Kareem.
I don't know if we're mixing the two because that 1 year was the one I think I got second. I got second place, first place. But the year that I got like voters' choice against Aldor, I think, was a year where I got second.
Was that the front blunt pop to the other rail?
Dude, I don't even
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
And you were mentioning today, the reason why I brought this up, that the purse for voters' choice or whatever was $50K.
Yeah, that was a $50K like
Dude, imagine
moment
a purse
that we had together
50?
Yeah.
with like a bunch of other people in a house where I think they were interviewing me and then like they announced it to me. I think Eddie Wall was there.
Maybe Peter Line too. I don't know. Yeah. It was...
Yeah. It was like, yeah, crazy moment.
What did you do with the 50K?
I didn't realize it at first.
Fair question. Because you were younger when
Invested it. Yeah.
No way.
I don't know. Yeah. I put it to the side. Yeah. I didn't buy anything crazy.
Were you
Unfortunately,
good?
like I got nothing really juicy to say about it. But I got like 50 for voters and I got 25 for second place. So,
Just from the X Games too.
yeah.
So.
But a little fun fact: when the check shows up, it was like 58K instead of 75 because the like
Tax.
the
Exchange?
tax no tax they take it like right away and then I guess yeah.
Harsh.
But it was funny. Like I go to the bank and I go to the counter, and I'm like, I have a big check to deposit. Like should we go somewhere like
Somewhere
almost-
private?
Yeah. And she's like, no, it's cool. And then she sees it and she's like, oh, yeah, actually, do you want to sit down? I'm going to call like the manager or whatever.
Where'd you get this money, man?
Because the check actually says like Walt Disney. Because it's like ESPN's owned by Walt Disney.
You got a Walt Disney check.
That is so cool.
That's dope. I don't have too many of those. Did you ever win 50K anywhere?
Not yet. No, just like still waiting. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, man. So you did 2 projects this year. One was with Dakine. This is Louif. And you did another one with Solomon. I forget the name of it. What was the name? Rizumu.
Yeah.
Those were both amazing. 2 very different projects. One of them is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Homey. You're in your backyard and you're filming. And I really like in this film, and we were touching on it today, that when you're mountain biking in your backyard and when you're snowboarding in your backyard and when you're pushing yourself and you actually get that clip high because you filmed a legit clip in your backyard, or you ripped the mountain bike trail and you end up in your backyard, the settle down and the come down you immediately bring into your household.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was such a cool touch point because like not many people get that clip high and get to bring it right into their house and then hang out in their house with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was incredible. I also just thought that whole film really kind of touched on like what you're up to these days. There's a little bit of family, a little bit about where you're living and stuff. And do you like where you picked to kind of lay your head at night? Do you wish you lived in the city? Do you like the country?
No, I love the country. Yeah. I'm very comfortable there. I love it.
The spot is so sick, man.
Yeah, and it's funny, like we settled there. We loved it, the area, the property. But I didn't realize how much I could use it actually, Like originally we found the house, we found the property. I didn't even picture like the snowboard setup with the rails. I thought it was too flat. But we tried it and it was it worked. You just have to keep your speed and you have to pump instead of like slow down a bunch if it was steeper. And so like I didn't realize how much potential there was, and I feel like every year I see more potential to do certain things. Like that place grows on me,
Can anyone just go ride your park? Do you ever come home and there's just like random people from Quebec that are in your backyard hiking your down rail, or is it like pretty invites only?
Yeah, it's invite only. It's like, yeah.
Who do you have ripping up there? Like, who are some locals that are coming to rip the backyard?
Seb Picard is often there. Joseph Robbie, the homies from the Saguenay always come and do like a session every now and then, or every other year. Otherwise, there's like Remy Fournier, Ben Billock. When he's in Quebec, he always wants to come and help me. I think he likes to shovel more than to snowboard, actually. But yeah,
Francois's been there a couple times.
Francois was part of the. He was actually the one who like got me started on that. I need to mention it because one year it was there wasn't snow anywhere, but there was snow in my yard because it's a little bit more in elevation. And we have this, like, I want to say a little microclimate that we get more snow than in Quebec City. And he hit me up and he was like, should we find rails and put them in your yard? And I was like, yeah, let's try it. And it started from him, like, calling me and doing that. Because otherwise, I think, yeah, Ian Stigit did it. And we went and drove together and got, like, Nick Sauvé's rail. He lives, a kilometer away from me, maybe. And, so we brought the big tube is actually Nick's rail.
That's a nice piece of steel.
Yeah, and it was like massive, like dangling off my truck, like far out. But we only had like a short drive to do, but we brought.
Have you had a Deja Vu reunion there yet? I've been kind of waiting for that edit, like bandwagon Deja Vu backyard edit. You know, Frank's bringing in the pizza. Ben's been there for 15 days manicuring this like holy boly like thing in your backyard.
Yeah, well, the pizzas would be cold if they, come from Rivière du Loup, which is 2 hours away. But yeah, we have actually last Christmas we had a session, which was pretty sick. Alex Canton was, I want to say MVP. He was ripping.
Whoa!
Switch God for sure.
Switch nose P.
Yeah. Switch tail 270. Yeah. He was ripping. I was like, damn, sick.
That's sick.
And Phil Jacques is actually has been ripping in my yard too often.
Phil Jacques incredible. He's filmed some insane parts over the years. Almost like I don't want to say underrated, but there's definitely an element to it. I feel like.
I think he's underrated.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think,
nice.
I don't know.
To me on the West Coast, I always thought of it.
Agree. Yeah, for sure.
I would just think like to me on the West Coast, I've always put him in the same category as other pros at a very high standard. But I feel like when sometimes you hear about how much people are getting compensated and where they are at with their brands and the tier they're at on the pro scale of a brand, I don't know the intricacies of that. But like to me, I always held his name in like a high regard. Like that guy is a top pro. Like he's in the legit videos all the time and his parts are always 3.5 minutes long and he's doing everything squared up proper, like I don't know, classic French Canadian switchback lip to switch, absolutely perfect in the middle, no sag, not crooked, proper.
He's got the board control too, and the speed because he's he does good at those races too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he get like top 3 or something in the bank slalom or something like that?
He was up there. I'm pretty sure he's got a duct tape and a blanket. I think he's top 10 somewhere top 10, but he always does a good time.
Yeah, which is like I mean, you don't often hear of a rail god stepping into that realm.
Mm-hmm. So. And it's something, you mentioned the switchback lip to switch, and I appreciate like the moment that he's on the rail. But, for Phil, for example, I really appreciate the time that he's in the in run and the out run because he's like, it's some of my favorite part of the trick in his case mostly.
Yeah, I like that you put emphasis on that.
Yeah, you can see him pump in like better, and obviously, the board control comment is, he's got it for sure.
I think a big part of snowboarding, which most people recognize, but maybe not everybody, is the in-run approach just as much as the rail and just as much as the landing. Like, some of my favorite clips, someone does like, whatever, back lip, and it's a perfect back lip, and then they're riding away, and there's like, in the outrun is like a cool little snow block, and then they back 180 over it, and you're like, that helped make the line. Like, or they ride away switch and then they find like this cool little snow pile at the bottom to do like a cab 3 on, or like Kuzik's done the backflip out of some stuff, and it's like it adds like a lot to the trick.
Even sometimes just the body language of like the person being relieved, being high, like, you know, being like stoked about landing the trick, and just like, you know, even just that sometimes, or like an extra little turn after.
Yeah.
You know, there's something about that.
Yeah, there's definitely a vibe some people put off. I like when people just kind of like not full contest celebrate, but like you realize that like they've probably been battling for a while, and they're like, I like they clench their fists or something like that. They're like, I fucking did that. Yes. Like I love that vibe, especially when you're on the actual session with that rider and you know like maybe what they had to overcome to get that clip. Like maybe they're not that good at that clip. When you film with people for a long time, sometimes you know like he doesn't have the best front 270, and then he battles for like a full day and gets the front 2 for his part. It's like that's a nice feeling to be there, part of your homie battling. It's good.
Absolutely.
I agree too. Well, yes,
but I wanted to say like too. Sometimes I see in videos people like talking about like runouts, you know, and sometimes I see in videos people land a trick right away, but they stop, you know, and there's still snow that they could just keep going. And that's something that like triggers me a little bit. I'm like, keep going. You just landed. That's, you know, enjoy, like, you know.
What about not enough snow on the ride away, so they only can ride away for 2 seconds before?
I mean, you just landed. Just go on the pavement, whatever.
You don't mind the pavement? The pavement stresses me out because I'm just like the younger version of me who used to buy snowboards.
save
when
the
someone
board.
goes sideways and just destroys their whole board, I'm like, how many boards you get?
Depends how crazy of a clip. If it's like, you know, ender, just run your board, whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
If it's just like a little filler, maybe yeah, save the board.
Yeah, if you go full beast.
And also, take like 2 minutes, throw a couple shovel scoops in the landing, you know?
Yeah.
That's maybe sometimes what I notice, I'm like, hey, you know, you could have taken the time to put like just a couple of scoops in the landing.
Live in the glory of the moment.
Yeah.
You know?
So one of your board makers here, Vole, who I don't know if you both know him, but you just went to Japan with him. You filmed a project with him. Harrison seems to know him based on the nods I'm getting from you over there.
Of course.
I have never met Vole. You're going to a place like Japan. What's he like? Is he fun to be out in the mountains with?
I mean, I've had the pleasure to hang with Vole a lot over the years. And most recently, Louif and I both got to go out to his factory in Austria, in Meyerhofen, where he lives, and, you know, basically get a tour of where he grew up snowboarding around all the resorts in the Zillertal Valley. So this was a huge eye-opening moment for me, and just getting an insight into like how he became the rider that he is. And I would say, you know, I know we both feel similarly, like it's so inspiring to see the level that he is maintained from, I guess, the very beginning. And even now it's like, it just speaks volumes to like, to the rider he is, the person he is, like, and the knowledge he has.
Yeah.
It's insane, really. Yeah.
To me, he's like one of the sickest. Like, you know, he's had like a successful career. He's done like how many absent parts. He's won Rider of the Year. He started Asmo, you know, the snowboard company. He's filmed like insane clips on. He's like easily the best like power surfer out there. He's got 3 kids. They rip, and he still rips. Like, you know, to this day, you go and follow him around, and he's like on, you know, you're not gonna catch up to him. He's like, he's powerful. He's got the best. Also, like,
humble,
possibly the best pow slash in the world too. I mean,
that black and white one at night in that film is incredible. It's like a 50-foot rooster. You're like, holy.
There's one that's Taka, and there's a couple that are Vole, but
they're both incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, Vole is incredible. I got so much respect for him, and yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say his age. I don't even know how old he is, but like, it's so sick. It's so inspiring for me to see someone just continue to, you know, to push it like that and live the lifestyle too. I don't know. And bring it to his kids. His kids rip. Like, that's what gets me hyped nowadays. I see him like following his youngest, and he like pow slashes already and throws like back ones to his back, and it's like the sickest.
Yeah, it is really like everything, the all encompassing, I guess.
And sorry, I gotta jump in.
Yeah.
And he designs boards for Solomon now, and he
like,
and he presses his, you know, he builds all those prototypes in his workshop in Austria, and he tries different shapes, different side cuts, different, you know, everything, and we get to test him. He tests him like crazy. Like, he's got the best place to test him ever. Yeah, he's building a board that's got my name on it. I put a lot, you know, we go back and forth a lot, and it's been in the Solomon line for a little bit, in the HPS line, which is a quiver of, I think there's 4 or 5 boards that are all designed by Vole in his workshop. And, you know, there's one of mine in there, which is really cool. Like, it's so special to have, but it's a cool conversation that I have with him, and he builds a board that he really likes, and that have like certain properties that I'm telling him that I want, you know. But it's really cool.
I love hearing you two speak, because I'm just a super fan of you two, and I like your approaches to snowboarding, and I feel like I'm drawn into similar things. To hear you guys both speak about him and just like how wicked this human is, and I've never heard anybody in snowboarding say anything but that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I just love how much passion he has for snowboarding. I was on Billabong for a long time, and I always wanted to get to go on a trip with him, which it never lined up. But I think that, like, not knowing him, but knowing how much he loves snowboarding and knowing how much he gives back, and it's just something that I'm so inspired by. And now that I am older and lots of my friends have kids and stuff like that, to see him integrating his own, it's just like this whole wheel of snowboarding is just something that I completely like mess with. I'm like, this guy's, it's nice to get to our age and still have like mentors that are doing something that's like not necessarily just filming video parts, but who they are as like a person now, enrolled in society more at large. And you're like, those people inspire me. And when they're still a snowboarder, you're like, that's so inspiring. Like, that guy, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's, if I can add there's 2 things that I want to add. He's like, his presence on the board, I think you can agree. He's like so powerful, like, you know, so, you know, you can tell he's heavy. He's like pushing in the board, like kind of like how MFM was, like, you know, like,
yeah, totally.
And like, I don't know, I want to say like some old school guys.
Benji
like,
Ritchie had like a big, like, strong snowboarding.
Or like Kurt Westell. You know, like kind of like.
Yeah, Tank.
Yeah,
totally.
And Vol is that. And also there's part of him that's like a little kid. Like, when it starts snowing and like, or it's like he's at the top of the mountain, like he's like, he gets excited. Like, it's so funny, you know?
That's amazing.
He gets like kind of handsy, and like if someone's like not ready, he's like, come on, let's go. Like, you know?
Yeah, when he gets riled up, it's passionate. My favorite thing.
Yeah.
When he's yelling at Vlad, his filmer, or whoever, any of us, really. Like, I'm like, yeah, I can like still remember like the first time he's like, "Come on, Harry," like saying that to me, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, all right, I'm dropping." Like, Jesus, like I have to go right now. Vole is telling me like this is a huge, I don't know, speaks volumes. Without also saying too much at the same time, you know, he really leads by example, I feel like. So
that's amazing.
It's pretty special to have.
So, Louif, you were in Japan with Vole and a handful of other Solomon riders for that edit, which is incredible. I highly recommend checking that out. Actually, I highly recommend that you check out the other edit too. This is Louif. They're both amazing, short, filmed and edited really well. But Harrison and I earlier today were talking about how you've been to Japan at one time with Louif, and you went to where you did your ender with Vole, the big wall ride. and maybe Harrison, you can take it from
I mean,
here.
yeah, like I remember it was, I think during Beacon, I
Mhm.
know for sure we had gone, you had scoped that dam from your house probably on Google Earth or something. And we had been there, like, I guess we'd been there to scope it, and there was kind of some
like
security.
earlier in the trip.
Yeah, there was like kind of a lot going on, and you did end up getting like a really sick clip for the video, which could have been, I believe, the Ender.
Yeah, well, because we tried to film on the other side for you. Remember, you
Yes.
like hiked all the way up,
Yes.
and then like someone came out of the dam and was like, gave us the X and stuff, and
Yeah.
but then
The
I think
Japanese X is
yeah,
sick.
the
Like,
classic X, and then like either like I think a few days later, even maybe more, like we came back and we're like, let's hit the other side, let's give it a try, and like we're all nervous, we're like, we're gonna get kicked out again. But we took like this crazy little traverse, like goat path over
It was like special ops, like kind of
Yeah, yeah.
like military grade.
Like-
I
yeah.
felt like we were like
That's kind of
literally,
exciting, though. You feel like a
we're-
kid again.
Like it's to some extreme lengths, which I feel like, you know, it's not always like that, I
No.
guess. And so I was just really, I was super impressed when I saw that you had been back.
Yeah.
And you got to go back this year, and you guys.
we again did kind of like military ops style, like we like got ready like somewhere further, and then like everyone, like, you know, GoPro on the forehead, like everyone ready, kind of like almost like how you get into an helicopter, you know, like but we got in the car, got dropped to the top, like all like went really quickly, and waited for the filmer to like get to the bottom until they were ready, and then like radio to them like, hey, we're ready, all right, you know. And then we dropped in. I think we got like 4 runs each on that big dam, like top to bottom. It was actually harder to ride than we thought it would, I think. I thought it would be really easy to just like go to the bank for like a really long ride, but you actually had to like keep all your speed and point it at it. But it was cool. We didn't get kicked out. We like kept it pretty low, like as low as we could to not get kicked out, you know, but we didn't. And that was actually the last thing we filmed. And then we went straight to the airport, and like, so the trip, that Rizumu video is actually kind of edited like as the trip went, like pretty much day by day, and it ends
Chronological
with,
order,
yeah, and
yeah.
it ends with this, and that's how it went. So yeah.
That clip was insane. Like, did it look crazier than it was, or was it like more chill? Because the ride out, like that tree, everything, it looked so.
The tree was chill.
Oh, okay.
Like the tree that I'm going towards at the end, and I just like
Yeah.
slow down. That was not that bad. The crazy part was just going as fast as that, and like trying to get on the bank for a long ride, and then like you're on the bank and you're like, oh, I still have to point all this. Like, I think like it actually maybe was crazier in person than what it looks like. But
Yeah, for sure. I remember like thinking,
I don't know.
I mean, being there, whatever that was, 5-6 years ago, maybe more. I remember being like, oh, this is a fucking crazy spot for sure. Like, there's no, like, I'm surprised. Like, I don't know.
And I'm hyped that we finally did it, because I remember just thinking like, oh man, it would be so cool to do something like from the top to the bottom, and it's kind of like big mountain, but you know, urban, you know, an urban big mountains type of
That's
deal.
kind of
And
your approach though these
yeah,
days.
yeah.
It's
But
really
this was kind of like, you know, some of the most like representative of that idea of like, you know, I
the
don't
new
know.
genre
Fusion.
you created.
The fusion. That I like that you call it fusion.
You call it fusion?
He calls
I
it
mean,
fusion.
yeah,
like
I
it.
think it is fusion.
I sometimes call it hybrid. I don't know.
Oh,
But,
nice. I just
yeah.
call it like your own. I call it like a Louif snowboarding. Like
I think a lot of people do. They're like,
Yeah,
it's a
it's
Louif
like
spot. Yeah,
your
for sure.
own genre.
But it's fusion, you know? Yeah.
Fusion.
Because it's
I
like,
like
you're like, it's like riding in the mountains, but you're also fucking jibbing, you know? So, I mean, I guess obviously you jib in the mountains too, but this is pretty specialized.
Mhm.
Like the board
Yeah.
slide over the hanger in that one video was like we're not over a hanger, but you board slide like the snow ledge above
The tunnel?
Like every time I watch that video and it comes back up, I'm like, that was not fucking chill. Like if you would have came off right at the top, like your first one, you just would have like backside ollied over it. You would have fucking died.
I actually did kind of. I like on the first back 50-50 try or whatever, like back ride, I actually kind of did, and I like just splat at the end, and then we were like, oh, this is not chill. Let's go put like soft snow there, and then I tried again. I got like, I think it was back 3 to back 50 on that rainbow, and then it was like, oh, let's do something else, and I went for like whatever, indie, or frontside grab to boardy. It was kind of a power slide on snow, but it was
No, the power slide was
but that was crazy though. I remember I was at that session too,
You were there, yeah.
and I opted out because it was actually like super crazy, and obviously like, you know, to Ivika's point, you know, there's like you let obviously people hit spots that are their spots, and but like the snow that surrounded the landing, we all thought it was like fresh pow, but the bale that he's talking about, we're like, oh shit, because like it was very much not fresh pow. It was like blown from a snowblower.
Oh, it caught moisture in it, and then it froze over.
It was
like
it was not a chill slam.
I think like the proximity to the road made it really hard, but like, you know, we were trying to keep it all fresh, keep it all good looking.
Good photo.
Yeah, video, photo, but yeah, then we went and corrected it. So that's another one that's like pretty, like in my head, pretty iconically like representative of that fusion idea.
Yeah, your fusion idea.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, you went anti-fusion, like you're doing the power slide, board slide that one year. And then I think it was called Wicker. You do that like board slide down like that 150-foot concrete ledge.
Another one, yeah. It's that's in.
That's not fusion. That's full street.
Running perennial. Well, we actually kept it fresh at the beginning. We sessioned it like we left it, you know, with a bunch of snow on it, and Tony Kirkla 50/50s it. And then by the time I like did my board slide, it got cleared out, but like we didn't shovel it. We just rode it. I think I like board slid it with snow on it, and then eventually just like.
Did you have to brick rub?
disappeared.
Was it kind of gnarly?
No, it
Just
was
smooth?
Yeah.
A ledge that long is just smooth.
Yeah, but the dragon tail got me a bunch of times. It was just like whippy or whatever. And my first try on it, actually, I think I like front flipped out of it because I was going either too slow or something.
Okay, what's your favorite fusion clip you've ever filmed? It's a great question by me.
I think it could be that beacon rainbow, I want to say. Like on top of my head right now. There's probably some other ones. But I think, you know, that otherwise, like, I like the blind spot that I go down like a really old ski jump in Georgia. And the old in run was fresh. Like I kept it fresh, and I just go down and board slide this thing and kind of got it, you know, first try to the end of this flat rail. It's like nothing. Well, it was kind of gnarly, but that one looks good because it's just like a piece of like, I don't know, it's so old looking and it's like pretty special looking, you know, the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the in run, I'm just S-ing like powder and then into a board slide, you know.
You got to hit up Travis Rice about this fusion boarding. We need to get a new bracket of natural selection.
I think
at dump or, you know.
One of my favorite
dump
ones
in AK or something
is the other dam on the way up to Kokusai when it was like air in to the thing, and then I think you did like,
you want to say like through the like the hallway, like I think I do like a backside wall ride, and then I go through and then I like roast beef out.
You roast beef after, yeah. That shit was crazy. Roast beef? That shit also, like, you know, obviously it's hard to like show how gnarly spots are, and that one for me was pretty crazy to watch as well.
With the hallway, yeah,
that
one was
pretty
crazy.
gnarly because I saw you slam super hard.
Yeah,
on that as well.
Yeah,
and then the roast beef was a total shocker as well for me.
Yeah, anyone it's like a mute stiffy when it pops out. You're like, whoa, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that one also kind of felt like big mountain type, you know, just like which is a feeling that I like. It's like riding a line, but there's like a bunch of, you know, street features along the way or whatever. Another one that I like is in that running perennial, the ender is like a front, bank ride, and then I ride it, and then it kind of like avalanches, and then I do like a method down to like kind of a flattish but like pretty deep landing. That one clip is pretty. I was hyped on it.
Do you have a backcountry rider that inspires you and a rail rider that inspires you? So, and then you collab those two into fusion?
I just get like inspiration from both worlds of the backcountry and the streets, but I can't really name like just one. There's so many.
Do you have
honestly.
a hand? Like, throw out a couple people these days that are just rough, not your favorite. We're not going, this person is my favorite, but you like this person's approach as of right now, and maybe you're gonna forget about a couple people, but that happens.
There's so many, man. But like, I watched, the whole Atlas crew, like in that 686 video. That was pretty heavy. Rated R, Jed, Jay Kuzik come, on top of the list. Tommy. In the backcountry, I mean, I don't know. I'm still thinking right now on top of my head, Kazu Kokubo. Yeah.
Great pick. Just leave it at Kazu Kokobo.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Kazu's new footage that he's been putting out has been absolutely mind melting. But
yeah, I gather like I kind of like get everything, and there's like some that I inspire me more than others, but like, yeah.
Is there any approaches in snowboarding that turn you off or that you don't love? That you're like, I don't really understand that.
Some of the street lately, like, that's a little too like, that doesn't have flow, that's just like, oh, I'm dropping like 5 foot before, and I'm stopping in a wall, and it's just like a kink, and I can tell that session was not fun at all. Like, I'm like, oh, you tried this for like 3 days in a row, and you fell in the stairs a lot. Like, a lot of times I watch videos and I'm like, was this fun to ride or not? Like,
Cool.
was this, was this like, did you enjoy it or not? Yeah, really complicated kinks don't really get me that hyped, or like, I mean, it looks sick on video. You're like, congratulations, but it doesn't make me want to snowboard. Like, whatever makes me want to go snowboarding is what I'm excited about, really.
Well put.
That's a kind of an easy answer, but like flow, like, lines like follow cams, whatever's got like a long in run and a long out run.
Yeah,
I think is what, like, when someone's just like turning and you can tell they're like, in the
I feel like Jake Durham and Colton Theleman both have they're both insanely, like, now that Hayden has since put down the follow cam fisheye, which he absolutely mastered in the movie Beacon. I felt like there's been like a couple new people that have picked up, like Brocklebank was another insane follow cam fisheye filmer. And I don't think people realize how hard that is to do. Like the Atlas follow cam clips, like some of those clips, you're just like, this is insane. Like as if you got his full frame in there on the next part of the clip. Like,
yeah. I feel like recently too, there's a lot more follow cams in the backcountry, which is pretty sick,
Yeah.
I think there was like a bunch of moments in Brown. I know Rusty's been doing some. I just saw like a Matt Belza clip where like it's filming from under
the Switchback 5.
Yeah, I think so. And also in like Sebe the Box video and like I think like Casino or whatever. There's a lot of follow cams. Those guys are killing it too.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like the follow. Big fan. We are going to embark with dinner soon, and we've had a long day filming in the backcountry yesterday, sledding around, hitting a 7-foot hip, and product stuff. But what's next for you, Louif?
I'm gonna go back home, spend Christmas with the kids and the family, and after that, I'm trying to go on a trip for VG, do the first filming trip. I just said it, but
nice.
Did you hear that? That is that coming out of your mouth That is so sick.
Yeah, so now it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen, and I gotta get actual good clips. Otherwise, people will be like, "Where did this go?"
What if are you going fusion this year, or is there like a new Louif angle that's like, I don't know.
I honestly would like to bring. I'm still super hyped on the fusion, and that's what kind of gets me excited to. So I'd like to bring that into my VG part, yeah. But I'm super open to street trips, and if I can find some lines or some like fun stuff to ride with good landings or whatever. Like I gotta find like stuff that's not too impactful because I got a really sore knee. My front knee hurts quite a bit, and I have to be mindful of that, and that's why like that's why the powder gets me excited and steep landings.
I mean, flat landings when we were kids, we kind of like, I feel like the early 2000s, people were just hitting stuff to flat. Like those Tech 9 videos for a couple years, people just hitting like closeout 50s, 360 out to like 30-foot drop to flat. That was like a thing for a long time.
Yeah, I kind of regret jumping to flat for no reason.
Ooh, that's good advice to any young kids that are listening.
Yeah, for sure.
Not worth it.
Because that'll itch you when you don't think it will, and not everything's repairable too. I went to see the doctor with this knee, and I was like, can you do anything? Can you I'm down to get like a surgery, like repair this. And they were like, nah, there's nothing, sorry. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get smart about it. I want to do, get stronger, and but I just got to be careful with what I do and mindful of what I'm going to choose my battles in the future.
Yeah, we only get one body.
Yeah.
This time around. So.
Yeah. Be smart.
Yeah.
Was it consistent impact over the years that kind of added up to this knee injury, or did you have one incident where it was like, this is why my knee is kind of sore?
Yeah, I think it's more wear and tear, but there were some incidents where I remember one that I went to see the doctor. That was like a long time ago. And doctor said like, yeah, you have a torn meniscus. You kind of have a flap that gets, in the way. And that just like, but he said like, if we go and, work on it, it might make it worse, or, we'll only go work on it if it gets bad. And it was all right for a moment. And then it just like, later on, like way later, it got just like uncomfortable. So
yeah, my takeaway from talking to people and having my own mass amounts of injuries and little tweaks on my own body is, if I could go back to the younger me, I'd be like, if you get injured, rehab yourself, bring yourself back to 100% or as close to as 100 as you can or above, and like get yourself even stronger than you were before. Because I did 2 shoulders and a couple little things with my back, and I didn't take some of them serious. And now there's like little naggy things, and you're just like, why did I just get stoned and play Grand Theft Auto all day? Like, why? Why didn't I just follow what my physio was telling me to do? Now my shoulders all like, bleh. Anyway, that's a me thing.
I also wish I kind of hit like the gym maybe a little younger, and like made my legs stronger around the joints and saved my knees a little bit, because that can help for sure, but yeah.
All right, well, is there anything that you want to accomplish, because you've pretty much done it all as far as a fusion snowboarder goes? You've probably filmed almost 20 video parts, enders, openers, covers, 5 X Games medals, probably inspired more of the core snowboarding community than maybe anybody else. Maybe you could throw Jed into that, and then you could go, okay, you could do JP and Jeremy. But like the fact that you're in that category is crazy. Do you have anything that you still want to cross off the bucket list?
I don't know. I'd like to I'm still chasing the dragon. I'd like to end on like a solid video part, but yeah, I don't know.
We're 3 dragon chasers.
Yeah.
Here we go. Harrison, the best co-host in the entire world. What do you have coming up next? What's going on for Harrison?
Yeah, I feel like this season's been kind of slow with snow and everything like that. So kind of waiting for plans to really matriculate, and hopefully it'd be great to get into the mountains with both of you guys and maybe a Solomon project. But we'll kind of see. Yeah.
I just want to film for Louif's movie next year called Fusion. I think I could bring something to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, a Beacon 2 is something that's on my mind, but, you know, that'd be epic. Get Hayden back.
Oh, that would be sick. Hayden out of retirement to just film your White Dragon video part. Oof. I mean, if he listens to this, he should totally do that.
Yeah.
One of the best. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for enjoying this, I don't know, interesting. Oh, we're getting a phone call now. Dude, co-host, blowing it. No, I'm kidding. My phone rang earlier, too. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, Jody.
Yeah. Thanks, Louif. Thanks, Harrison. Take care.
Thank you.
We're going to go grab some sushi. Peace. 3, 2. Oh, my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966.
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Airtime, y'all podcast.
Yes, sir.